threats beyond capacity, and these crises are gradually reaching our classrooms too. In across the Northwest region, attacks and abductions of pupils and students in schools are becoming a painful pattern. When gunmen storm classrooms, learning stops instantly, and that doesn't end there. Keep parents pull their children out of school due to fear. Teachers run for safety, and the entire community loses to education. According to data tracked by humanitarian groups like Save the Children and Amnesty International, the unrelenting threat of violence has forced authorities to shut down over 600 schools. This has worsened Nigeria's ongoing education crisis. For a region already struggling with millions of out of school children, this incident or each of these incidents is further is pushing the children away from education in northern Nigerians. Today we ask beyond the headlines. How does these school abductions and attacks break learning process for students, teachers, and the communities left behind? And to discuss this with me in the studio is Professor Usman Abdulkadir, Director Center for Peace Studies, Head of Head Department of Sociology, Usman Amfodo University Hospitals. Welcome to Midday Vice, sir.
Extremely happy to be with you. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome, sir. To begin with the mass abductions and attacks on schools in northern region and in some part of the country, like especially the recent ones that happened in Oyo and Borno State, how does it affect learning process? And beyond that, how does it affect the communities, the schools around those communities?
Well, education is one of the major social institutions in any human society. It's central, and also it has a lot of linked with the development. There is no society that can develop or prosper or advance without education. So also mostly learning takes place in school, and any society that need to thrive to develop, it has to educate, it has to transmit knowledge, value, skills to the younger ones. Because what socialization did is to transfer all those values to the younger generation so that the society continues. So based on this, and from the background you have mentioned, you find that already northern Nigerian region is lagging behind, far behind. If you look at it from the Nigerian side, the southern part, entire southern part, ahead of northern Nigeria, due to a lot of factors. One, issue of colonialism, place much emphasis on Western education to the southern part. The northern part are behind about 50 to 60 years. And then also, you find that the region also there's some certain socio-cultural practices, issue of some people are very hesitant, feel reluctant to send their children to the school because they feel that the schools will Christianize or perhaps will corrupt their religion. So some people have that apprehension. Others also agree or believe that they can send their male children to the school but not girls. Issue of corruption and so on. All this will divide the educational divide between northern Nigeria and southern part. But the most also traumatizing things is from 2009 with the emergence of Boko Haram in the northern eastern part of Nigeria, Borno, Yobe, Adama, down to Gombe. This also have a lot of repercussion where many schools were closed down, and then many schools turned into IDPs, And then also was also the abduction of Chibok girls that brought about a big blow to the educational advancement of the northeastern part, and almost 3 to 4 years no schooling, because Boko Haram have also emerged dominant. Only about 4 to 5 local governments that are not under the control of Boko Haram. But also from 2017, I think 2017 to date, the Boko Haram activities are spread. We have also issue of cattle rustling, insurgency, terrorism, kidnapping, and other violent criminal activities that also engulf other northwestern part of Nigeria, from Katsina to Zamfara to Sokoto to Niger, down to some part of Kwara State now. So all this brought about a big blow to the educational development of the northern part of Nigeria. Particularly, almost all those where this kidnapping took place, you find that mostly the schools become the IDP camps in most of these rural areas, primary, secondary school. So this left a lot of children not going to school. We have seen abduction of school children in Kankara down to the Zamfara state, in what you call Jangere town, to Kebbi, to down to Niger, now Oyo. But almost all this is, northern part is affected mostly because we have a chunk of out of school, about 20 million out of school children, almost 10 million almajiris, and then also people that are children that are could not continue with their education from primary school to junior, from junior to secondary, drop out and so on. So all this compacted and compound the educational development in the northern parts of Nigeria.
From what you've mentioned now, recently, what we can say that the factors that are leading to out of school children is mostly due to insecurity.
Yes.
So, why do you think the schools and students are becoming the targets of attacks and abductions?
It is not something difficult to understand because the northern Nigerian people need to be conscious. The northern leaders, traditional, religious, civil society, the media, the intelligentsia, and almost every one of us. That's why I gave you that historical antecedent, historical background. Right from the beginning, the northern part of Nigeria is marginalized educationally. So therefore, even this issue of Boko Haram down to this insurgency kidnapping, some people are saying that it's a calculated attempt to make the northern Nigerian society to be backward. And that's why terrorism is negative. It's not something that is positive. And to make it worse, abduction of children. Because if you disallow children to go to school, that society is dead. Because look at it, even Quran begins with Ikra. Read. So there is no civilization, no any development, no any advancement can happen without education. So once you targeted children, children are not going to school, and some are dropping out. School are closed. Now how many? Almost 200,000 children are abducted. This more than 600 schools were closed. What is the repercussion? Which means the terrorists, the Boko Harams, the insurgents have an easy way to lure these young children, to recruit them into their terrorist activities.
And that leads me to my next question, because that's what I wanted to ask you. When schools are shut down and when schools are attacked and pupils are attacked and schools are shut down, what will happen to the entire community future?
That what is a calculated and target to ensure that northern Nigeria didn't grow. That is it. It's calculated attempt by some gruesome international communities, because some certain international communities, a finger is pointed at them that yes, this global terrorism from Al Qaeda down to Al Shabaab and so on. So they are targeting. They have a negative view about Islam and so on. So and also other some western part of the world doesn't want some certain region to develop. That's why if you look at northern Nigeria now, almost all the development statistics is showing that the northern part of Nigeria is up. Illiteracy, poverty, unemployment, lack of human development index, out of school children, the almajiris, the insecurity, this, almost every negative thing, the northern part is upward. So any good thing, northern Nigeria is downward. So therefore, it is a responsibility for all the leaders to be conscious. And that's why, look at it, even northern southern part divide. Look at almost our northern states are the first in terms of poverty. Sokoto have been seen as the most rich poor state in Nigeria for how many times? 3 or 4 times. In terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of this. So, and the whole region is targeted as the one of the most backward region in the whole world, not in Nigeria. So therefore, so added with the out of school children, what will happen? So therefore, it is easy recruitment for the Boko Haram and other terrorist groups. Look at it now. Who are selling bread to them, who are supplying water, supplying bullets. Look at the way police and other SS are seen. You see people from southern part, from Niger, from this, from the other state, taking this for peanuts. The way some people, nurses going to offer medical service to them, the mechanics, this. So, and they have easy recruitment, because the moment somebody has education, how many of them, the bandit that have a first degree, how many has diploma, nursing, NC? So, once somebody like education, once Islam, just religious, spiritual, and conventional education, so he can become any criminal, because issue of this crime, even then, is affecting them. It's affecting them psychologically, it's affecting them socially, and it even dehumanizes their personality. Because nobody will can you invite any terrorist to your radio? Can you give any announcement that so terrorist child is going to be married? All this, so who wanted to aspire to become a terrorist? They are always in the hideout in the bush. They are not coming to the city. Therefore, even them is not good for them. So therefore, why? Because of lack of both education. Because if somebody knows the repercussion, he cannot. So therefore, if they come through abduction of school children, one, it shows them is a psychological warfare with them and the government. The government will not feel happy. They will get more money. They disrupt the learning process. They have easy recruitment for children. This. So these are some of the
parents naturally get scared.
Yeah.
So when parents keep their children home for safety and they drop them out of school, what does that have? What is the long-term effect of that action by the parents on the child's learning?
Honestly speaking, no matter the level of intensity of terrorism, kidnapping, insurgency, as far as I'm concerned, it should not stop the education of the children, because it is another trauma. Because if you deny education to the children, you are also traumatizing. It's also another terrorism. It's another textual kidnapping You also kidnapping intellectually. So this one, they are doing it, and so on. But it is also a very dangerous omen. On no account will the parent disallow their children's school out because of fear of insecurity. Because that one is also a very dangerous situation that will have psychological, social, economic effect on the child. So it have a lot of social, psychological impact there to the child, the community, and the society in general.
So how does okay, go ahead.
And it will make the terrorists to feel that they succeed. Because look at it, I'm always citing one example of one state in Nigeria, in the northern part, that strategize. Despite all this insecurity, they make sure that they combine some certain school to local government, to certain headquarters of the state, so that the children should not miss the education. Because if the children miss that level of education, the terrorists have succeeded. So therefore, on no account will the government, will the community, will allow the terrorists to succeed. Therefore, even if they are using abduction of children, the government, the community need to be strategic to make sure that we have seen during COVID-19. Despite COVID-19, still some states make an effort. The education should not discontinue. They make an effort. So if this thing can happen through COVID, therefore even the insecurity, our state governors need to be proactive. Look at it, things are happening in Borno. Therefore, the Yobe, the Katsina, down to Sokoto, Niger, they have to rethink, what do we do before this thing come to us? But sometimes that is where the issue is.
You've mentioned that some states are merging schools in order to continue the education so that these terrorists will not achieve their aims. So how does merging schools or how does moving schools to safe zones affect children from leaving from their community to attend schools in the cities?
Well, if the government make an adequate care, because it's 3 months. After 3 months, they can go back to the holiday. They are in SS1 or SS3. They can be able, the moment every time, they can be safely returned to their parents. And then the government also need to be more proactive, providing security, providing food, and so on. Housing, accommodation. Make sure all the facilities are there. So once they do that, I don't think it will affect the children, because it is the most important for the children education to continue up to their completion level. So that should be the goal. That should be the target.
Okay, abductions normally affect girls in schools, unlike the one that we witnessed in KB. So, and how does that affect children, like the female children attending schools, especially in the rural areas?
Yes, so that's why it is affecting the girls most. But I'm not saying even the children, the boys will not be suffered.
Yes, but the culture and
yes, but so you see, already as I was saying, the northern part is lagging behind. So there are certain people that doesn't allow their girls to go to school. So if they target girl, they are frightening others not to send their children. So it's a psychological warfare to ensure that this community, this region, remain educationally backward, especially when you target female education. So I think this is another way to make the region to be more backward educationally, so that it has a very negative impact. Because there's what we call educational divide. Look at it now. In every civilization, every country, if you want to let the level of development, look at the education of the children, particularly women, because you find that female constitute a largest chunk of our population. So if you deny female education, you are indirectly killing that society. Because they say if you educate woman, if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. So therefore, women are to be a good wife, to be a good mother. Uh, a woman have a lot of contribution to the socio-economic development of the society, even psychologically. The more you have a good mother, good children, good wife, it translates to a good husband, good family, good community, good society. So the burden more is on female. So if you do not female education, you are indirectly killing that society, because behind every successful man, if you don't have a very educated, moderate, conscious, sociable female, so it will impact on even the psyche. The way the husband will run his family will not be it will affect a good parenting. When we say good parenting is where both mother, father, and the children have a vision and mission of what to do and what not to do to make the family to be a better living family, so that it will translate to a good community to good local government, good state, good country, or good region, good country, good world. So
How does fear now? How does fear and trauma affect the way teacher teach or the way a student learn?
It's very traumatizing, especially in 2017. I was in Isa when the terrorists attacked some vigilant in Isa local government. I was in Isa. I have seen how they kill a pregnant woman. They kill a lot of innocent people because this vigilant has a reprisal attack. And so they come by reprisal attack. I was in the town. I have seen people are in a very traumatizing condition, because if somebody can come and kill a pregnant woman, so that is the highest state of. So this is that one of the tactics terrorists do. They usually enforce a psychological fear, trauma to the people, so that when they come to attack you, you will not retaliate, you will not defend. So they already enforce that. So that's why they can kill children, they can kill women, pregnant, all young, they don't mind. So that look at any oil attack, 2-year-old child,
Yes.
they go with him. So
Okay, viewers and listeners, it's still your show, Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio transmitter on 91.9. We will take a short break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. In case you've just joined us, this is Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio transmitting on 91.9. And right here at the studio, we are discussing about how the crisis is gradually reaching our classrooms, with the mass abductions and attacks on our pupils and students in schools, especially in northern parts of the country and some parts of and some of the region in the country. It's affecting learning for students, teachers, and the entire country. You want to be part of this conversation, the number to call is 09060002022. And with me in the studio is Professor Usman Abdulkadir, Director, Center for Peace Studies, Head, Department of Sociology, Usman Nampodo University, Sokoto. Prof, you're welcome back from the break.
thank you.
Learning loss is one side,
Yeah.
but when you talk about exams, graduation, and job chances, how does many years being out of school, or how does years of a child out of school affect his chances in the future?
Well, it will affect so many. It affects him negatively, because learning is a process. Semester or term, whatever. You find that the moment that insecurity affect the timing of finishing school. If it affect timing of finishing school, it also affect the timing of transition maybe from the primary to to JSS, from JSS to SS, from SS to
institution.
yes, and even in the higher institution to pay, maybe going to NYSC, coming back, this. So even NYSC comes sometimes the insecurity is affecting. So therefore it has it delayed. It provided a delay in progression of the children in terms of even enrollment completion, and then also continuation of the yes. So it has a lot of repercussion on the personality development because it will delay the chances of even moving forward. So that delay is also affecting even if somebody finish issue of job,
Yeah.
issue of even retirement because it will affect the age of when somebody started schooling. It will affect even chances for somebody to even have a family because most of these school children, maybe after NYSC getting job, then you start a family life. So it
When we
also
talk about displacements too in Nigeria today, we see families being forced from their homes and everything. How does it affect the entire community, or how does that entire community look like?
well, there is a issue of economic depression, psychological trauma. It affects health, economic well-being. It affects every aspect of the displaced person, and then the community. Because look at it, most of the time the schools are becoming the IDP centers.
Yes.
So when they become IDP centers, which means no school for quite some time, and you find somebody with 2 or 3 bedrooms now is sharing one,
Single.
yes, with his wife and children. Issue of going to toilet, issue of a lot of things, man. And somebody is completely displaced. Yes.
So when people run for safety, and most of these communities are farmers, what happens to their farmlands, and how does it affect food production later in the year?
That what we are facing now. Issue of food insecurity, shortage of food, high price of food, and you find that many farmers, some farmers that can produce about 100 bags, becoming maybe with less than 10. Some people that can produce 10 are coming back to 2 or 1. It affects their income, their economic boost. It affects every aspect of their livelihood. They can hardly marry off their children. Those who wanted to have religious obligation of going to Hajj is affected. Look at even this year. Before, Sokoto can have about 13 or 15 flights of the pilgrim, but today, because Ilela, Gada, Guaranyo, they are farmers, and you find that this local government, 1,000 people or more than that, they can have 2 or 3 aircraft to Mecca. But this year, what happened? Look at even Salahuddin Ram this year is also affected. So many things is affected. Many people cannot marry off their children because their incomes have drastically reduced. Maybe in farm they can get 2-3 million, but now they come under 100 or 100,000. So it has a lot of devastating effect on the livelihood of an individual.
Beyond the crowd, the cities too are getting crowded.
Yeah.
How does the pressure, or how is the pressure of displaced people affecting the host communities?
Well, it's also terrible. If you look at Sokoto, you look at you go to Gusau, you go to every city where there is insurgent communities, where these IDPs, are coming, is very devastating. One, it will affect you even psychologically. You see 4-year, 5-year child or girl up to 11, they are still begging. begging, begging. It turned many married women to become beggars. You see a daughter, her mother, and her grandmother in street. So it's terrible. With lack of food, no education, no sanitary, no water, no, lack. So that is the traumatizer. And most of the, if care is not taken, they will turn back to becoming something else. You find, yes, if you are interviewing them, and we find that some city people, some people that are very heartless. If you go to any IDP camp, the way they have been, their items were stolen, some hoodlums area boys will come and issue of raping, issue of stealing their property. And most of them, their children cannot go to school, no water, no. They know the lack too much. So they were what I call a double-edged sword. In their communities, they were destabilized by bandits. They come to the city for rescue, and then certain disgruntled element in the city also. You find that the way these children were being raped, both male and female, is very disheartening, and turning them into criminals. Yes, when they come here, they are seen, they are coming to the rescue place.
Yes.
Even here, they are not safe.
They are not safe.
You see many people raping them, stealing from
Taking
them.
advantage of the
Yes.
situation.
So it's traumatizing. Thing. And if care is not taken, these disgruntled elements are turning them to become criminal. It becomes them to become heartless.
Yes.
Because instead of the society here to have sympathy for them, some of us maybe to take them to enroll them in school, giving them food, shelter, and all that. But the city is turning back to a place whereby it turns them to become a professional criminal. So it's very terrible, dehumanizing situation.
Governments and NGOs do try to help. From what you've seen or what you have experienced, where do you think the biggest gaps are in terms of the help that they are providing for these displaced people?
Well, you see, if you look at the fact of all the issue of terrorism, banditry, insurgency, all this issue of lack of poor leadership, lack of good governance, issue of corruption, issue of bribery, all this. So these are, and this issue of educational divide, original divide, is one of the major things that bring us to where we are now. So therefore, the gap here is, even if the government is claiming to be spending, so does that money, does that intervention reach these people? Go to every IDP camps in Ramenkura, in Chaperot, in Samarot, in almost all the IDP camps. Go there. What are you seeing? Do you see any intervention?
I can see.
So that is the problem. So even if the government, the NGOs are saying this, they need to get a very credible people that will ensure that intervention with these people. You always see them on streets from 5 a.m. in the morning to 12 or more than that. They are always women. As I was saying, the grandmother, the mother, the grandchild on the street.
So why do you think the attacks on schools keeps happening despite the promises by our government and security agencies that they will keep these schools safe for children?
Well, the issue is, one, we are not proactive. If something is happening in Borno, so I think Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Niger, Kwara, they need to learn from that. So you shouldn't allow, unless when things come to you, then. So we need to have what we call our curative measures, not preventive. Prevention. Prevention is better than cure. So you need to prevent, you need to do something. What have the Borno and other eastern part did? So, and then what am I missing? What should I do? But so whatever the issue of bad governance, poor leadership, look at it in the northern part of Nigeria. Which government, how many government, state government are giving their local government their allocation? If you remove allocation from the local government chairman, everything is centered on the center, on the state. The federal government is giving billions, but yet this billion is not going to the local government. If the billions is going, they will cater, even if they will still half of the money. For example, you find in some states, for example, in Sokoto, the lowest is Binji collecting more than 500 million. So if you give 500 million, even if the chairman and the local government councillors are to steal 250 million, so that 250 million, put it maybe on education, next month on agri, next month on many things, because this issue of terrorism, insecurity is related to issue of corruption, bad governance, poor leadership. So if the government, this money is going for education, it will reduce. And even it will address the issue of insecurity. So you find that everything is centered on the state government. So what do you expect?
To wrap up, you see some communities are forming local vigilantes and watch groups. Can community security really tackle this issue, or does it create more risks?
At least it will reduce. Because look at in southern part of Amotekon. Look at since when we are crying for issue of insurgency, this. Are they crying? Since 2009, it is only now when you had an attack of primary school in Oyo, but in North every day. So therefore, the community need to come to be alive to their responsibility. They need to come together to have what we call homeland security, community security. I'm not saying it will solve the problem, but it will lessen. Because any community that, even in Zamfara, there are some communities that the bandit will not, because those people are always ready. From 10 o'clock to down, yes, they are always ready. Let the bandit come. So there are places that even the bandit will not go. So but if people just keep adamant, so, and that's why in the southern part, it is lesser. It is only now, since 2009. And why not southern part? Even in terms of richness, in terms of money, in terms of everything, the southern, North is a place for population and poverty. But to Lagos, if you want to abduct, if you want to billions, why can't you go there? When you are attacking rural people.
Let's look forward now. For a child displaced today, what are their chances of going back home and finishing school in the next few years?
Well, that depends on their community. It depends on their community leaders. It depends on the local authorities. It depends on the state authorities. And it lies to all of us. So therefore, we have to have a community governance, what you call a grassroots governance. So all of us as stakeholders, we need to come together to ensure that, yes, easy return, and then also easy retention, and then moving forward. So it's something that unless we have what you call community governance, governance at the grassroots, what is affecting Raba, even if I'm from Goranyo, is also affecting me. So unless when we have that collegial and social solidarity, yes, social cohesion among us, so what is ever happening to my other communities is also affecting me. For example, what happened in northern Nigeria, when this thing is happening in Borno, we feel we accept. It's only when it comes to us now. So if we don't have that social solidarity that even Kalbe is calling Asabia, group solidarity, ethnic solidarity, social solidarity, that one will bring us strong, and then we feel a sense of belonging. Whatever happened to my neighbor happened to me. But if we are living as a banana republic. Everybody is to his own and God to all of us. So we are not helping matters.
Thank you very much, Professor Usman Abdulkadir. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, and thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you so much, Aja.
And with this, we come to the end of today's edition of the program Midday Vibes. On behalf of our production crew and our guest, Professor Abdulkadir Usman, I am Hajara Usman and Tajri. Stay blessed until next time.